All right, let's dive right in, shall we? We're talking French fries today.
Those crispy, golden brown delights.
I mean, who doesn't love a good fry? But have you ever stopped to think about where they come from?
Or the science behind that perfect crunch.
We're about to take a deep dive into the world of French fries. You might be surprised by what we uncover along the way.
Our main source today? Wikipedia.
It's more reliable than you might think for a tasty topic like this.
You might be surprised how much history and science go into making the perfect French fry.
And we're diving into all of it. First up, what do we even call these things? Because it turns out French fries isn't the universal term.
Not at all. Depending on where you are in the world, you might be asking for chips, finger chips, or even frites.
Exactly. And for our listeners outside of North America, chips usually refers to what we'd call potato chips here. But no matter what you call them, one question has sparked debates for ages. Who actually invented the French fry?
Ah, yes, the Great Fry debate, often waged between France and Belgium.
Two countries, one delicious fried potato, and a whole lot of national pride at stake. So let's start with the Belgian claim to fry fame.
The Belgians point to a manuscript from the 1600s that mentions deep-fried potatoes as evidence. They even have dedicated French fry shops called friteries, which definitely adds weight to their claim.
Sounds pretty convincing so far, but I'm guessing there's more to the story.
There is. While the manuscript mentions deep-fried potatoes, it doesn't give specifics about the shape or preparation. Some historians argue that those early fries were more likely just chunks of potato, not the elongated, crispy fries we know and love today. Plus, potatoes didn't even arrive in that region of Europe until the 1730s, which makes that 1600s date a bit suspicious.
Okay, so the 1600s manuscript might be a bit of a stretch. What about the French side of the story?
While a prominent French food historian, Pierre Leclerc, makes a strong case for a Parisian origin, he points to French fried potatoes appearing in an English cookbook way back in 1856, much earlier than any documented Belgian reference.
1856. That's a pretty solid piece of evidence.
It is. Plus, there are accounts of Parisian street vendors selling fries in the 19th century, even claiming to have invented them on the Pont Neuf Bridge.
Pont Neuf fries, it has a certain ring to it. So where does that leave us in this great fry debate?
It's a culinary mystery. And like all good mysteries, there's no definitive answer. Whether you're Team France or Team Belgium, we can all agree on one thing.
What's that?
French fries are delicious.
That's a fact I can definitely get behind. But let's move from the history of the fry to the science behind it. What makes a French fry different from any other fried potato?
It all boils down to the two-bath frying method.
Two baths.
This technique is key to achieving that perfect balance of crispy exterior and fluffy interior.
Two baths. Do the potatoes get a little soak in the tub? What's going on here?
Not quite,
Yeah.
but the name is pretty accurate. The first bath involves frying the potatoes at a lower temperature, around 320 degrees Fahrenheit. This crucial first step allows the starch inside the potato to cook slowly and evenly.
So it's like a gentle pre-fry, getting the inside nice and fluffy.
Exactly. Then comes the second bath, where things get really exciting. We crank up the heat to about 375 degrees Fahrenheit, hot and fast to create that crispy, golden brown crust we all love.
So it's the combination of these two different temperatures that makes all the difference.
Precisely. The first fry ensures the inside is cooked through, while the second fry creates that satisfying crunch. It's a delicate dance of starch, heat, and time to get it just right.
Speaking of science, there are a couple of terms you mentioned earlier, gelatinization and the Maillard reaction. Sounds pretty complex for something as simple as a French fry.
It might sound complicated, but it's actually quite fascinating. Gelatinization is what happens when the starch granules in the potato absorb water and swell up during cooking. This creates that smooth, fluffy texture we love in a good fry, that contrast between the outside and the inside.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about the Maillard reaction? What's happening there? That one sounds intense.
That's where the real flavor magic comes in. The Maillard reaction is a chemical reaction that happens when sugars and amino acids in the potato are exposed to high heat. It's what gives fries, and lots of other cooked foods, actually, their irresistible color, aroma, and flavor.
So when I'm enjoying a perfectly golden brown, crispy fry, I have the Maillard reaction to thank.
You got it. It's chemistry at its most delicious.
I like it. I can always get behind a little chemistry, especially when it tastes this good.
Now, I know we've been talking a lot about classic fries, but this deep dive wouldn't be complete without exploring some of the amazing variations out there. because it turns out French fries are a global phenomenon.
Oh, absolutely. We've just scratched the surface here. So what are some of the most interesting ways people around the world enjoy their fries? Hit me with your best fry facts.
Let's take a trip to the Netherlands, for example. Ever heard of patatje oorlog?
Patatje oorlog. That sounds pretty intense. What is it?
It translates to war fries. And trust me, they live up to the name. Imagine this. Crispy fries slathered in mayonnaise, then drizzled with a savory peanut satay sauce. And to top it all off, diced raw onions for a bit of a bite.
Mayonnaise A&D peanut sauce.
Ah.
That's a combination I never would have thought of.
It's a surprisingly delicious clash of flavors. And for something completely different, we have to talk about slap chips from South Africa.
Slap chips. As in, they're so good they'll slap you silly.
Maybe not literally, but they're definitely a unique fry experience. Slap chips are thick-cut and fried at a lower temperature, which gives them an almost fluffy, melt-in-your-mouth texture. And here's the kicker, they're drenched in white vinegar.
Wait a minute. Vinegar. I'm not sure I'm on board with this one.
Hear me out. The vinegar adds a tangy, bright counterpoint to the richness of the fries. It's all about embracing a different kind of fry experience.
Okay, I'm willing to try anything once. Vinegar-soaked, super soft fries. Maybe my world will be rocked. What else do we have on our global French fry tour?
Let's hop over to Japan for a taste of okonomiyaki fries. They combine the best of both worlds. Crispy fries topped with all the savory goodness of okonomiyaki, that savory Japanese pancake. Think tangy okonomiyaki sauce, creamy mayonnaise, dancing bonito flakes, a sprinkle of seaweed. It's a flavor party in your mouth.
Okay, you had me at savory Japanese pancake.
Huh?
I'm adding okonomiyaki fries to my must-try list. So from vinegar-soaked to peanut sauce drizzled, it seems like French fries really can be a blank canvas for culinary creativity.
Absolutely. And while we're on the topic of creativity, let's not forget about the impact French fries have had on American history. Did you know that Thomas Jefferson, yes, the Thomas Jefferson, played a role in popularizing them in the U.S.?
No way. The founding father himself was a fan of French fries. Tell me more.
It's true. Historical records show that Jefferson served potatoes served in the French manner at a White House dinner back in 1802. He developed a taste for them during his time as ambassador to France, and apparently he brought the recipe back home with him.
That's pretty cool. So French fries have been a part of American cuisine for longer than most people probably realize.
Exactly. And speaking of history, remember that debate about who invented the French fry? Well, there's a popular story that American soldiers stationed in Belgium during World War I coined the term French fries because French was the language spoken in the Belgian army at the time.
I've heard that story. It's a good one.
It is a good story, but it turns out it's probably not true. There's evidence that the term French fries was already being used in the U.S. before World War I. So it seems like the name, like the origins of the fry itself, remains a bit of a mystery.
Mysteries and fries, maybe some things are just meant to go together. But I think it's time we address the elephant in the room, or should I say, the elephant on the plate. We all know that French fries aren't exactly health food. How bad are we talking here?
Well, a large order of French fries from a certain popular fast food chain, you know the one, contains a hefty amount of carbs and fat. We're talking around 510 calories, 66 grams of carbohydrates, and 24 grams of fat. And let's not forget the sodium.
Okay, those numbers are a little hard to swallow. But surely there are different perspectives on this.
Of course. Some health experts point out that the deep frying process, along with all that added salt, pretty much eliminates any nutritional value the potato might have had. They argue that, nutritionally speaking, a fry is almost unrecognizable from a simple baked potato.
Ouch. That's a bit harsh, but I get their point.
But it's important to note that not all health experts take such a hard line. Some acknowledge that while fries are undeniably high in calories, fat, and sodium, enjoying them occasionally as part of a balanced diet isn't going to completely derail your health. It's all about moderation, really.
Okay, that's a relief, so I don't have to say goodbye to fries forever.
Not at all. And remember, there are always ways to make your fries a bit healthier. Oven-baked fries, for example, can be a delicious and less calorie-dense alternative.
That's a good point. I actually love a good oven-baked fry. Speaking of healthier options, I've heard that French fries can be a surprisingly sustainable choice. Is there any truth to that? Sustainable fries. Now that I have to hear more about, it seems counterintuitive, but I'm all ears.
It is surprising, but when you think about it, potatoes themselves are a pretty efficient crop. And a recent study actually found that, compared to a lot of other popular foods, fries have a relatively low environmental impact.
So what makes them better than, say, a burger or a plate of pasta?
Well, for one thing, potatoes require less land and water to grow than many other crops. And while the frying process does use energy, the oil can often be reused multiple times, which helps reduce waste.
That's good to know. I feel a little bit better about my French fry habit already. But what about acrylamide? That's been in the news lately as a potential health concern linked to fries. Should we be worried?
Acrylamide is definitely something to be aware of. It's a chemical that forms in starchy foods during high heat cooking, and yes, French fries tend to have higher levels of it.
And I know I've seen headlines about acrylamide being linked to cancer. What's the real story there?
It's a bit complicated. Studies have shown that acrylamide can cause cancer in animals, but the evidence for humans is less clear. Some studies suggest a possible link between high acrylamide intake and certain types of cancer, but more research is needed.
So the jury's still out on that one. I guess for now it's all about weighing the risks and benefits.
Exactly. And remember, as with many things in life, moderation is key.
Moderation is key. Got it. Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. We've explored the history, the science, the global variations, the health aspects, even the environmental impact of everyone's favorite fried potato. Who knew there was so much to learn about French fries?
It's amazing what you can discover when you start digging into a topic. It makes you realize that even the most everyday things have fascinating stories to tell.
Absolutely. It's like we've unlocked a whole new level of French fry appreciation. So next time you're enjoying a plate of fries, whether you're team crispy or team fluffy, team ketchup or team mayo, take a moment to appreciate the journey those fries took to get to your plate. From the humble potato to the deep fryer, from Thomas Jefferson's dinner table to your local pub, the French fry has a long and delicious history.
It's a history that's still being written, one fry at a time.
So true. And on that note, we'll leave you with this thought. What other everyday wonders are hiding in plain sight, just waiting for us to uncover their secrets? Until next time, keep exploring.